Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Chris and this is the Daily Reflections with Chris. So those of you who are new to my channel, what we do here is we talk recovery, or I talk recovery. I share my experience, strength, and hope on a topic, and I picked the topic from this book called The Daily Reflections. I use it as a guide just to keep me focused on something instead of me just talking all over the place about stuff. About stuff. I mean, I still do that, but I don't do it as much, right? Because I have my guide here. So every day is a new entry. Every day of the week there's a new entry. So today is January the 1st, and if it's okay with you guys, January the 5th, I'm sorry. It's January the 5th. And if it's okay with you guys, let's get started, okay? Today's entry is called Total Acceptance. He cannot picture life without alcohol. Someday he will be unable to imagine life either with alcohol or without it. Then he will know loneliness such as few do. He will be at the jumping off place. He will wish for the end. Outside of Alcoholics Anonymous, page 152. Only an alcoholic can understand the exact meaning of a statement like this one. The double standard that held me captive as an active alcoholic also filled me with terror and confusion. If I don't get a drink, I'm going to die. Competed with, if I continue drinking, it's going to kill me. Both compulsive thoughts pushed me ever closer to the bottom. That bottom produced a total acceptance of my alcoholism with no reservations whatsoever, and one that was absolutely essential for my recovery. It was a dilemma unlike anything I had ever faced, but as I found out later on, a necessary one if I was to succeed in this program. Man, that's a good one. This one, it talks about the jumping off place. It talks about this thing that they call in recovery the double-edged sword, right? This thing called alcoholism is so cunning, baffling, and powerful. It just tells you like, man, come on. Just one. You're not alcohol. You're not sick. It's gonna be okay. And then you drink one, and it's like, oh, just one more. See, you're good. You're under control. You got this. And you drink another one, and then you drink the third one. And the alcoholism is like, pendejo, right? It's like, damn, you messed it up now, man. You can't even drink two. What's wrong with you? You have low self-control. Who are you right now? Like it totally backstabs you, man. It tells you, yeah, I'm your, it's like your drinking buddy. Just come. I'm not saying drinking buddies are like this. I'm like saying alcoholism is like the disease itself. It centers in our mind, right? So in our mind, it's telling us all these kinds of stories, playing all these kinds of tape, telling us, man, you can handle this, man. What do they know? And then next thing you know, it tells you, God, man, they're exactly what you said you were. You're freaking alcoholic, you're not worth, and blah, blah, blah. It tells you all these negative things about yourself to make you feel horrible. And excuse me, I'm sorry, my dogs. And that's why right here it says that it brought this person, the writer, closer to their bottom, because they started to realize, man, this thing is killing me. I can't be with it and I can't be without it. And that's, some of y'all have heard my story, but if you haven't, that was kind of me at the end. Because even though when I came in the first time, I was like, man, this is like the program for me. It's perfect. It's the right fit. It's everything. It's like I want it so bad. And I got into it, I had a different type of desperation at that point, want to stay out of jail, get my card signed, try something different. Let me see how this works. Just a different kind of desperation, because I was really, really hopeless. My life was going nowhere. No matter how much I tried, I couldn't get on track. So in here they offered me like not just a solution, but a way of living that I'd never heard of before. Like one that actually tells me what to do. When I was growing up, I heard things like, oh, you just gotta learn how to cope with it. It's like, wow. I mean, what is that? What does it look like? And in my family, coping with it was like drinking and drugging. That's how they cope with it. So that's what I did. But without drink or alcohol, I didn't know what else to do. And then later on, I realized that alcohol, even though it was numbing the pain, it was killing me too. It was bringing me to closer to my bottom, closer to a hopeless place. I mean, like, it was really, 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 just kind of like, almost like, what am I living for, right? What am I supposed to be doing here? I mean, like, for real, like, I'm supposed to live like this forever, drunk all the time, high all the time. And I used to think that, but then my hangover would go away, or I wouldn't feel it anymore. And I'd be like, okay, let's go to the bar again. Let's go to happy hour. Let's go chase this. Let's go chase that. And that double-edged sword, man, it was full of terror and confusion. Like it talks about here in the reading, it was filled with terror and confusion because I was scared and I wanted to stop, but I couldn't. My brain said yes, and then it said no, and then it said yes, and then it said no, and it gave in to the yes, and then it was like, see you, dummy. And that happened to me, after coming into the rooms. It happened to me once, and then it happened to me twice. And the third time was, I finally understood. It's like, man, I was at that jumping off place because I wanted to quit, but I couldn't. I couldn't even find a reason to quit. And I was miserable, and I was horrible inside, and I felt crappy on the inside, and I could still not find a good reason to quit drinking. It was, man, it's just, if you've ever experienced that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, man, thank God you haven't experienced that. I mean, if you're normal, you've never experienced that, thank God. You know, if you're alcoholic like me, or you're addicted to some kind of drug, you might get to experience that. And if you do get to experience that, if you can remember this in that moment, it's like there is help out there for you. Cry out to something, cry out to whatever. Just say, man, I need a way out. God help me. My favorite is one that Pastor Freddie Garcia. I don't know if you guys know about who Freddie Garcia is. If you don't, look it up. He was a neat guy. He passed away now, but Freddie and Ninfa Garcia, they're co-founders of the Victory Outreach, right? Which is a big movement too, kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous, but more in the church, more church-based, more religious, right, organization. But you know, he walked out. They did the altar call, and he didn't want to, and that double-edged sword. He had the double-edged sword too. He had the double-edged sword that would tell him, go to the altar. No, don't go to the altar. That's for dummies. Go to the altar and get saved. No, man, everybody's looking at you. Mira como te miras, como un pendejo. You know, like that those two voices, one's telling you, go to freedom, and the other one's telling you, like, nah, man, Chala, you don't need that. You're good, man. And the other was like, go. And the other was like, no, how embarrassed you. Look at how embarrassed you look. Getting on your knees for God. Mira, who's God? And the other one's saying, no, man, God's the answer. God, go. And he did. He fought that. And his prayer was so simple. He said, Dios, dame una quebrada. He said, God, give me a break. And boom, just like that, he was saved, and he never looked back, man. He helped so many drug addicts, so many alcoholics, so many broken families get back together, get saved, get their lives back on track. You know, that's the church way, right? That other option that there is. But you know that, and that such a simple prayer, and oh God, man, when I was in my when I get to these places, I think about him, and I think about that. Like, God, I just need a break, and boom, I get one. And my breaks, they look a little bit different than back then, man. Back then, I was like homeless, hardly had a job, no money to eat. I mean, like, I was pretty desperate, and anything I would say things like that, God help me, or Dios me una quebrada. Man, I'll get a free sandwich, or somebody would buy me a soda, or give me a ride, or back then I used to smoke, so they would I still do, but back then I was like a real smoker, right? Smoking like a pack a day or whatever. And, excuse me. Sorry. And so they would like give me cigarettes, and they'll give me rides, and they'll buy me food, and they'll give me just money. They'll be walking by, or I'll find money on the floor. You know, little signs like that to tell me, man, I got you. I'm listening. I'm listening. And that's what helped me. That's what helped me this last time, that I was just, man, I was like, I kept trying to stop, and I couldn't. I knew the program. I knew who I became. I don't like who I became when I drank. I knew the program was, I had already done my steps. I'm like, man, I could just get back in. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to get back in. But I didn't want to live like I was living, hopeless. Man, I have been, hopeless is like the one thing that seems to kind of creep up on me sometimes. Like, hopeless, the way I understand hopelessness, and it was the easiest way for me to get it, was that I can't see beyond what the present. I can't see beyond what I think is real right now. And I think every day is gonna be the same. It ain't never gonna get better. Ain't nobody gonna help me out. I ain't never gonna succeed. I ain't never gonna have money in the bank. I'm never gonna buy my house. I'm never gonna get, that hopelessness, because right now, gratefully I do have a few dollars in the bank, but I'm not married. I don't have my own house. I'm barely moving up at work. So it's easy for me to get down on myself and think that I'm going nowhere. But look at me. I'm sober today. I haven't put not one drop of alcohol in my body. I haven't put a drug. I haven't tried to fill myself with hanging out with women, especially married women. Those are my favorite for some reason. I mean, not really, they're not, but when I'm trying to fill a void, man, I go to that. So today I'm feeling grateful that I don't have to do that. I feel like I have a little more clarity in my life, like solutions come to me easier. But the big book is clear. It's clear, and this program is clear that all the years of wrongdoing, it's not gonna be, I can't change it overnight. It takes work. It takes a lot of practice. I pray prayers. I watch a lot of different, sometimes I'm so down that I just put on like a little motivational YouTube, whatever, 30 minutes of whatever before, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. It's good. It really is good. And that's new for me. Even being in this program, as long as I have, that's really new for me. Because before, man, I used to pick alcohol. I'd be there and trying to bug my girlfriend, be like, hey, but what do you think you should do? I don't feel right. And they'd be like, man, I don't care. Do whatever you want. Like, I became codependent. I started leaning on my lovers too much, and they took off, man. They're like, hey, whoa, we don't want a child. We want a man. We want a grown up, right? So in this program, I learned how to grow up and take care of myself, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Man, I pray. That's my spiritual, how I take care of myself spiritually. I get my emotions in check, maybe do a little bit of therapy once in a while. That's how I get my emotions in check. I don't work out, but I keep active doing things. I go to the doctor more often now. I do a little bit of acupuncture too. That helps me. So that's how I take care of myself physically. And then financially was just, I show up to work when I'm supposed to. Don't leave till I'm supposed to. When I cash the check, make sure I pay my bills, save a little bit for later. And just try to be responsible. I don't always do it right. Man, Christmas just passed and I went crazy. So I got a little bit nervous, but there's so much things that we can do now if we're low and we gotta wait till paycheck, man. I can favor, I can DoorDash, I can go give some lifts. I could call people and be like, hey, you need your grass cut, you need whatever, your car wash, anything. I know that there's a solution to everything now. Even And that sounds simple, right? Sounds minute, sounds so small, but that's the stuff that used to keep me drinking. It's like, oh my God, no tengo dinero. But man, beer's like, when you're broke, shit, beer's free. You just find the right person. They'll be like, hey man, you're down. No te agüites, come on, let's go have one. You'll forget about it. Yeah, you're right. You'll forget about that and everything else, just like I did. I forgot about my problems. I forgot about my bills. I forgot about my job. I forgot about my girlfriend. I forgot about everything. That's a double-edged sword. That's what the double-edged sword does. It cuts you going in and it cuts you going out. Folks, it hasn't been easy, but it's been good. I'm so grateful for recovery. I do a few 12-step programs, right? But I'm grateful for them. Because they taught me how to live. I'm not talking about, well, I am talking about living without drinking, but I'm all talking about living for real, having a really good life. Might not look like it to some people, but to me, man, I know where I came from. I know what I've been through. I know the suffering that I've had. I know the tears that I cry. And man, the life I have today is good. It's really, really good. And I owe it all to the program. If you're out there struggling in any which way, please reach out to somebody. Call somebody. If you're in the program, call your sponsor, man. Or call your other friends in the program. I'm sure you have somebody you could call to, you could talk to. Call an old sponsor, right? If you got your mom or your dad, call them. Say, hey, how you doing? Call your brothers or your sisters. You know, maybe you're not in the program, maybe you're in the church. Call some of your brothers or sisters in the church. Reach out to somebody. Don't try to do this alone. It's hard by yourself. I tried to do it by myself a long time because I was ashamed to ask for help, and nobody, now it comes easy because it just helps me so much. It became easier. Sometimes certain things I still kind of like, you know, I gotta pray a lot about it. And, you know, pray for courage and strength to talk to somebody about certain things. But when I do, man, God, it heals me on the inside. It heals me on the inside. And I come through it. You know, I've come through some stuff, and next time I'm talking to somebody one-on-one and they're like, man, Chris, this is deep, man. It hurts. Hey, I could help them. Because somebody helped me too. When I first came in, I was real quiet and shy and everything. And I didn't know what to do, right? It's like, what are the rules of Alcoholics Anonymous? So I didn't really do much. But once I started to realize, I wanted to do what the people were doing that were succeeding at this, right? I would see people get like really, really well. I'd think, what are they doing? And I would ask them what they were doing, and they would tell me. And I started doing that. And one of them was, I got me a sponsor, and I talked to that person. You know, if you didn't know what a sponsor is like a closed mouth friend. It's like somebody that you could tell everything to, and that'll help you. Well, mostly they're going to help you get through the steps, but also too, you got to be able to find somebody that you can trust or are willing to trust, right? So I found that person, and I started, you know, just little by little, tell them something, tell them a little bit more. And now it's like, man, something's bugging me. This is what happened. This is how I feel, and I don't know what to do with it. And they help me. They help. Even if they don't have all the answers, they'll tell me where to get the answer. And, you know, most of the time it's God. It's like, man, Chris, did you pray about it? I mean, have you talked to the man upstairs? Trying to do this by yourself again? I mean, that stuff gets you drunk, bro. You need to. People check me all the time. Yeah, so it's been good. It's a really good place to be. For those of you who have been on here with me today, thank you so much. Thank you for listening to me. I hope to hear from you guys. Please leave something in the comment if you want. If you know, if you found this thing helpful or entertaining or whatever, or maybe you think somebody you know might could use it, just, you know, share it with them. Watch it, like it, share it with them. And if you want to subscribe, that would be cool too. I really appreciate it. And every time I get a new video out, you'll get a notification that, hey, Daily Reflections with Chris posted a new video. And if you're willing, please watch it and share it with somebody, okay? Well, thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. So thank you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, friends.